Tonight we're talking about sponsoring, and I've got some great, fabulous leaders here to talk to us tonight. I have Anna Hughes, Catherine Gibson, and Tammy Thompson. So I'm going to flip it over to Catherine, who's going to lead us off tonight. You guys make sure you got your pens, got a glass of tea, something to drink, and let's have some fun. Catherine, it's to you.
Yay! Hello. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for letting me go first. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, good. So what I had the privilege of presenting at the Expo at World Tour the topic was called Call Me. It was about following up with prospects and basically talking about how important it is to follow up with people after you've had the opportunity conversation with them. The statistic in the material was that most people will join after about 12 follow-ups. So it's not just a matter of asking somebody, hey, do you want to join my team? Yes or no, and then move on. You have to really nurture a relationship. And so some of the suggestions in the material, I'll keep this brief because there's a lot of pages here and I'm not going to share them all. But first of all, when you are talking to people, is get their contact information. There's different ways to do this. One really fun way is to carry drawing slips around with you, and this is not a new suggestion. I know you've probably all heard this before, but carry around those cute little drawing pads from the family store. We got really, really cute ones new at Reunion, and carry those with you. And when you chat with people, say, hey, I do a draw every month, and your prize can be something really small like a cent circle, but that way you get people's contact information so that the ball is in your court, and it's up to you to make the next contact. Handing things out, I've been handing things out for years and I've never gotten a single phone call from anything that I have handed out. But when I take the initiative to contact the person and build a little relationship, that's when things go somewhere. So definitely get their contact information, whether it's with a ballot. I've heard also the suggestion, and I'm working on doing this myself, pull out your phone and say, hey, are you on Facebook? And look up their name, hey, is this you? And add them right there. It's not as weird as you think it is. People are fine with it. And again, this puts you in front of them all the time. You'll show up in their newsfeed. Your newest friends always show up in your newsfeed first. So that's a really, really good way to keep in touch with people. And then you have their information and you can follow up with them. Organizing your contacts. When you get all this information from people, you want to rank it. So there was the example of a thermometer. So of hot leads are the people who are really interested and you want to follow up with quickly. Warm leads are the ones who are like, well, yeah, maybe later, maybe when I have more money, maybe whatever. So maybe follow up with them within a couple of weeks. And then cold leads are people who've said no, but you'll of course continue to touch base with them, at least quarterly when there's a new catalog or when there's a sale on or a join special, that type of. Like this month, you'd be following up with everybody, even your cold leads, because our join special is amazing. Whatever system you use, though, the best system is the one that you'll use. So if the thermometer, hot, warm, cold thing doesn't make sense to you, then don't use that. If you need a file box, use that. If you need a spreadsheet, use that. But figure out something that makes sense to you and that you will use, because, yeah, I don't know, there's some really elaborate systems out there and they don't work for me. So keep it simple or keep it complicated, whatever works for you, because everybody works a little bit differently. And of course, keeping in mind that when you hear no from people, it doesn't always mean no, never. And so ask them again and keep asking again. Just gonna flip through here. I know there were a couple other points that I wanted to share. I loved the expo this year because it was so informal. I didn't talk about the notes all that much because people had questions, and it was so nice just getting to meet other consultants and just chat, because this is what we do every day, and so just answering questions from experience. It was really fun. So another key point was labeling everything, and that I think is kind of like a consultant 101 when you first join. Your sponsor should tell you to label everything that you give out with your information, just in the case that that person does want to contact you. So yeah, again, talking about no. No can mean lots of different things. It can mean no for now, or it can mean a firm no. And there's different things that you can do to kind of feel that out. You can literally ask them, do you feel like it's not a good fit right now? Or just not a good fit in general? Don't be afraid to ask questions. It shows that you're interested in the person. And in many cases, it just means no, I don't have $150, because in Canada with shipping and tax, that's what it comes to, this week. But, if you follow up with them when you know it's their payday coming up or something like that, then maybe it would be yes. Sometimes the no is such a tiny, simple roadblock, so don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you discern by asking those questions that it is something small like that, don't be afraid to follow up then. And just having the kind of freedom to talk and ask those questions, again, strengthens the fact that it's a relationship. You're not just out there recruiting people, you're still interested in them, even if it is no right now. Keep in touch with them, touch base every 3 months, ask them how their kids are, ask them how whatever it is. Things can change too, right? People's life circumstances change, and you never know in the next 3 months what might change in their life. I have a customer who does basket parties for me every 3 months, and I ask her every 3 months to join my team. And she knows I'm going to ask her, and she always says, oh, not right now. But like, she knows. She actually will say to me sometimes, you're slipping. You haven't asked me yet. So I messaged her today, actually. I was like, I know you know this is coming. And I sent her the little flyer with all the information about our Crazy Join special. But don't make it a thing that's awkward or embarrassing. Make it your thing that you want to share with everybody, because you know how great this business is, and you're not bothering them by following up. And I think that's basically all I've got here. So, like, to summarize, get people's contact information so the ball's in your court. Use a system to track, to kind of categorize your potential recruits so that you're following up with the right people on a regular basis. This is and don't be afraid to ask questions and kind of discern what kind of no they're giving you, because no doesn't usually mean never. It usually means something's holding me back that I don't want to talk about, or I don't feel like bringing up, but if you ask them, they will talk about, and you can help them through it, and you can excuse their busts. You can bust their excuses. I've had a long day. So hopefully that all made sense and was like the quickest review ever, but I think that is about it.
All right, thank you, Catherine. I'm going to click over to see if we have any questions on the event page. If you guys have questions, please feel free to post them in the event page. If we can't get to them live tonight, we will go back and try to answer them throughout the evening, just like we did yesterday. Catherine, what do you say when they say, I'm not a salesperson?
I say that's fantastic, or that's perfect, because nobody likes to be sold to. People like sharing. A lot of people, especially with Facebook, like, people love sharing their new favorite product. You have to try this new thing that I just got, and it's literally just sharing. And if Scentsy is part of your everyday life, like it is mine, like, there's Scentsy in every room of my house. So even if I post a picture that's completely unrelated, Scentsy is in there somewhere. So it's not selling at all. So I think that's good, because people don't like that.
Definitely, and that's a perfect response. That's pretty much what I use. I'm not a salesperson. If we had to rely on me selling stuff, we'd be in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
Catherine, thank you so much. I know you're going to have to jump off for your other meeting. I appreciate you taking time out tonight to jump on with us.
Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Anna Hughes, who's going to share what's your join message. Anna, switching to you.
I gotta unmute myself. All right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. So my topic was, what's your join message? Well, share your song, what's your join message? And it was a staged presentation that was really geared to helping people create their own join message that is unique and concise and memorable. Because typically when you share something, you have about 20 to 30 seconds before someone deems it boring, or they turn off their brain, or they're engaged. So you have to come up with a join message that is clear and concise within that 20 to 30 second that 20 to 30 second period. So you might call it like your elevator conversation. What can you get in a couple of floors on an elevator, right? So first thing that you want to do is determine what your goal is. If your goal is to introduce products so that they'll buy products from you, or if it's to pitch your team so that they understand that you give good support and you're a good mentor and that they would want to join your team, or is it that you want to explain what it is that you do and why you love what you do, why you're passionate about what you do. So for me, it's why I'm passionate about what I do. And if you can be engaging with that, then you can talk about more. But determine what your goal is first. And then the next thing that you want to do is explain what you do, and you want to be unique, like I said before, and engaging and memorable. So you could say, somebody says, what do you do? I don't know why the door keeps ringing here. It's ridiculous. I have a baby sleeping. It's only 5 p.m. here. You might say, oh, I sell warmers and wax. Well, saying I sell warmers and wax and I make people's houses smell good isn't super memorable. So you need to come up with something that is more memorable. You can talk about fragrances and how they trigger memories and things like that, but it has to be memorable. So then the next and most important thing is you need to practice it. You need to practice it because the funny thing is, like, they wanted us to record our own join message and then pitch it in a video so that they could post the video and play the video for us while you were doing your presentation. And it took me seriously like 100 takes. I'm not even kidding you right now because it's uncomfortable. And until you practice it a lot of times and you get comfortable with what you're going to say, it sounds stiff. It sounds unnatural. It sounds that does not sound authentic at all, and you want to be authentic, because if you're not authentic and it seems forced, it's hard for them to trust you and like you and want to, be on your team. So it's very important to refine it and make sure that it's not stiff. And then on the topic of getting it down to that 20 to 30 seconds, you need to sit down and think about, okay, what can I remove from this? What can I cut out of this to make it the 20 to 30 second mark? What's up, hon? You taking pictures? Stop that. You're making me feel all awkward. So for me, it was, okay, so I knew you were laughing. So for me, my join message was, so somebody says, what do you do? I might say, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a Scentsy consultant, I'm a registered nurse. So what I do varies from week to week. A couple weeks ago, I was in Walt Disney World with my family working. And then last week, I was back at home mentoring my team so that they could meet their own goals while I was at home with my husband and my son. And then this week, I'm back at the hospital with my nursing career helping save lives. So what would you do if you had that type of flexibility? Boom, done. So if you end with a question, you're going to engage them because they have to be paying attention if you're ending with a question. And now you've started a conversation. So after that, there were like these cute little booths off to the side, and people could go into the booths and put on their little earphones, and they had a microphone, and they could practice their join message and record it and share it. And that was super, super fun. And I don't know how many people actually went in and recorded and shared, but they definitely went in and took a lot of selfies and had a good time in there. So that's the gist of creating a join message. I don't know if anybody has any questions about that, but for me, I can tell you right off the bat, I joined in February of 2013, and I didn't offer the opportunity to anyone until February of 15. So 2 years in, I started asking people if they would be interested in joining my team, because it was so strange. Someone joined me on the other side of the U.S. I had no mutual friends with her. She just said, "Hey, what's a Scentsy I keep hearing about? I want to join you." She had found me on my Scentsy business page. And I said, "Are you sure you want to join me?" Because I was not a leader at all. But she did join, and then I started asking friends if they were interested, and they were. And I think the most important thing I can give you in advice is ask everyone, because you never really know who it is that's going to be interested in the opportunity. I would walk by a woman's desk at the bank. Every time my repeat hostess had a party, I would walk back back and forth in front of her desk. Little did I know she was interested in joining me. I never would have asked her, ever, because I just assumed that she wouldn't be interested. So shame on me for not offering it to everyone right off the bat. So once I started asking last year, I recruited 41 people last year. And I earned the Launch to Leadership cruise in 19 days. I earned my first of 3 spots to Walt Disney World in 6 weeks. So the power, I know, right, is crazy, and I never did any of that before. So the power is truly in recruiting people. The power of recruiting people is truly in asking everyone and getting your message down. So as soon as you're comfortable with your join message, you're going to use your join message. And the more you use your join message, the more people you're going to recruit. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I had to unmute myself. This is why I wanted Anna from the get-go to cover this topic because she is truly an amazing sponsor and recruiter, and I've gone to her several times over the past few months saying, hey, Anna, how do I do this? So, know that not all of us are great at recruiting, but once we can get started with it, you can do it. And I want to reiterate the fact that you said ask everyone because you never know who your next recruit is going to be. I've had several that have joined my team that I call it flying under my radar, and they've been my biggest rock stars on my team. And it's just funny because shame on me because I forget to ask them. Mm-hmm. So it makes me feel like, oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? So thank you, Anna. I'm not seeing any questions. If you guys have questions, please feel free to pop them in the thread that everybody's posting on. Anna, what somebody does want to know is how many you've recruited so far in August.
I have 2 that have joined officially in August and 4 that are waiting for payday. So, yeah.
I'm telling you, she's amazing, y'all. She's amazing. That is awesome. Well, Anna, thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll keep watching for questions. I'm going to flip this over to Tammy Thompson, who's going to talk about sponsoring at parties, which is very, very important, and it's a good thing to kind of get to know how to sponsor at parties and not be afraid to sponsor at parties. So we are going to flip to Tammy. Hi, Miss Tammy.
Hello. I can't see myself. Am I supposed to see myself? You can't hear me? Hang on.
We can hear you.
You can hear me?
We can hear you.
Am I supposed to see or anything?
You probably will see me or Anna on your screen, but you're on our screen.
Oh, see, I've never done this before. Okay, so bear with me. I've never done this before, but here I go. Okay, so basically the most important thing that you have to remember when you're sponsoring at parties is building friendships. You have to remember that when people join your team, you're going to be doing life with them, right? You're going to be on this journey together. So building those friendships right then and there at the party is the most important thing. So go into the party thinking, you love Scentsy. This is the best opportunity ever. I wonder who at this party needs this. So have that in your mind and almost expect that there's somebody in that room that needs this. And the biggest thing is always remember that we don't get to decide who should join and who shouldn't join, because we can think, oh my God, that would be the perfect person, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's the girl sitting off in the corner that you would think, oh, there's no way that she would join, and it's probably her. So make friends with everybody, get to know everybody, and be authentically interested in what they're talking about. Get to know about their life. When you make a relationship like that and you're becoming friends first, they're going to trust you more, they're going to like you more, and there's more of a chance that they're going to join with you. So so that's the first thing. Also, listen for cues. Obviously, we always hear that we're supposed to, listen for cues. Whatever people say, there's always a lead-in that you can do to talk about the join conversation. So for instance, if they want to order so much stuff that they can't afford it, let them know what the opportunity offers, that they could be getting their stuff for free and half price with the rewards that are offered and the commissions and all that. So always be listening to, did somebody lose their job? Does somebody need to raise money for their kids' braces or whatever. There's always something that you can be offering the join opportunity, basically. What else do I have here? Let me think here. Hostess flipping, that's another thing that you want to focus on. So your hostess, every single party that you do, you should try to flip. Absolutely, because she loves Scentsy, or she wouldn't have booked this Scentsy party. She also put on a Scentsy party, which means she, in a way, does parties already. She has a room full of customers already sitting there. When you offer the party and you, forfeit your commissions and say, you know what, you rock this, and look at how much your friends love the products. If you want to join, if you think this would be fun, I will give you this party. And then you put the party under her. And what you've done is you've gave her a massive launch to her business where she feels success, she feels that you're supporting her. It's just that little bit of launch. Most of them, are certified that night. It gives them that confidence that they need to really go after it. And I've noticed that the girls that I've flipped parties are some of the strongest people on my team. So I think that little bit of confidence really does help too. What else do I have here? Okay, so the other thing you want to do is you want to have possibility packets with you. The new ones, I don't know if you guys have all seen them. They had them at our booth at Scentsy Family Reunion, but you open them up, and right when you open them up in the middle, it actually has the top 10 reasons to join Scentsy written right on there. So that's super fun. You don't have to, add that in or whatever. It's just out there, and it's fun, it's colorful, just like the catalog is, like lots of fun. And in those possibility packets, you obviously want to have like a join brochure, you want to have your catalog or showcase brochure. But the two most important things that I always make sure I have in these, the first one is samples. You want to have something smelly and exciting in there for a couple of reasons. First reason is that when they go home, they kind of might, say they were just introduced to Scentsy, or, because there's always people at parties that maybe for the first time that was their experience, and they had lots of fun and they loved it and they fell in love with it. But the next day, they could forget how awesome it was. So when you have something smelly and exciting in there, the next day they're like, oh my God, that stuff really is awesome. So it kind of confirms in them that they love this product. And the other thing is, it takes the cringe off of giving them a possibility packet, because you don't want to be like, okay, this is some information on Jordan. Like, it just scares them and it's cringy. This way, you're like, okay, I have a packet here that I want you to take home, and I want you to read everything in it. But it's got like really fun, smelly stuff in there, and you'll be able to like do your laundry with whiffs, and there's a little piece of wax, whatever you want to put in there. But make it fun. The more fun you can make this, the less cringy it is, and the more likely that people will be attracted to doing this. And then the most important thing is your join message, which is your story. You want to have your story in your possibility pack, because at parties, there's a lot of times, for me at least, I want to say certain things, but I let my parties take a life of their own in a way. I don't like to kind of control it. Okay, wait guys, I didn't get to say this. So you might have not got to say that you earned a trip. You might have not got to say all the amazing things. And so that way, they like you, they're going to take the pack home, they're excited about the smells, but then they're going to read about you the next day and think, oh my God, did you know that girl last night actually earned a trip? Okay, did you know? And then, they're talking to their husband, and they get excited, and it's a safe way for them to learn a little bit more about you, because at the same time, you're selling yourself. So at a party, you are selling the idea that, you are here, you're going to be their leader, they're going to be journeying with you, so they have to like you. So it's just a fun way to, anyway, I think that might be all I have. So yeah, you just want them to feel really connected to you and to get excited about, the smells, make sure all that's in there. I think that's it.
I do have a couple questions that are popping up in the feed.
For sure.
First, I just want to say I love your home office. Oh my, if I could get organized, I'm too ADHD to have an office that organized. The question is, I asked and the hostess said no. How do I follow up? It was a remote basket party. What could I have done better?
So she had a basket party. She followed up and asked if the hostess would join?
Yes, and the hostess said no.
Well, I mean, you can always just follow up in the future. You can try again. There's not really anything I don't know. You guys can pipe in and see if you...
I mean, Anna, go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to say that I hosted for 6 years before I joined.
Yeah.
Years that my consultant said, you should join. And I said, no, you should join. No, you should join. No. But she didn't give up on me. So I, exactly like Tammy's saying, I would say don't give up on her yet. Give her a little bit of space. But when she hosts again, definitely hit her up.
Mm-hmm. Never stop asking. I mean, and never stop sharing that opportunity with them, because you never know what their circumstances are. You know, and it's like the girls were saying earlier, no doesn't mean never. It just means not right now. So never stop asking or sharing that opportunity, because, I mean, you're offering them a blessing is how I look at it.
Yeah.
So did anybody else have any more questions? Okay, just to kind of recap, because I'm thinking I know what she's asking here, but they want to know about, did you just have wax samples and laundry samples, or did you have, what kind of samples did you have in your basket parties that you flip?
My basket parties?
Yeah.
Are you asking me or Anna?
I'll ask you first, and then we'll ask Anna.
Well, I personally have never flipped a basket party, so maybe ask Anna.
Okay, we're going to flip that.
One of my favorite team members was a basket party that we flipped. And she just had a good basket party, and I put it in her mind early on. I don't really do home parties, and I know that sounds kind of bad, but I really only do basket parties. So I've flipped quite a few people from a basket party, and it really starts from the very beginning. And if you plant that seed in their mind of, hey, if this goes really, really well and you want to put these orders in yourself and get the hostess rewards and the commission, that's all. We'll totally do that. That's totally up to you. And if you tell them right from the beginning, then they see, okay, this is pretty easy, I could do this, then you're more likely. Definitely don't wait until the end if you try to recruit a basket party hostess, because you don't have that time with them. You don't have the you don't get to build those relationships as well as you do when you're in person at a home party. So if you don't do it early and they can't think about it for a few days while they're doing their party, it's a lot harder to flip a bag party hostess. Yeah. I thought that I would totally like tongue twist that, but it didn't. So.
I love to flip my basket parties, and like Anna said, I start at the beginning. I kind of plant that seed, and then throughout the basket party, I normally give my hostess about a week or maybe 10 days, and I'll try to, throughout, I will touch base with them, text or calls or whatever, and throughout it, I remind them that, you are putting in so much work into this, and I hope you're enjoying it. And then at the end when we sit down, I say, well, you did all the work. You might as well get the pay for it. And then I kind of use that as a tool to, ask them if they want to join and offer that opportunity. Next question that's just popped up, and I'm sure that you guys can help me with this too, is can someone ask what kinds of things you put in your join packet or opportunity packets, as we like to call them? Tammy, you want to shoot that one first?
For sure. So definitely the most important thing you do is your story, your personalized story, and then your smelly samples for sure. And then I usually do a showcase brochure because they're cheaper than a catalog, but you can also do a catalog. Just because you want to be able to, unless you're okay with that, but personally I like them because they're a little bit cheaper, because I want to be able to have the opportunity to give them to as many people as are kind of freaking out over the product that night. So usually it's when they're checking out, so it's not totally cringy, but I'll just say, you know what, do you want to take this home? Yeah, and then a join brochure, absolutely, for sure, because you want them to read that when they get home.
Love it. Anna, what do you put in yours?
Same thing as Tammy. I do the folder, I do a product list, I do the join brochure from Scentsy. Those are super cute this year too. If you haven't seen them yet, they say living the dream on them. They're super, super cute. Love those. I always put product in them. If you don't put product in them, for me, and this could be different for you, but if I don't put a scent circle and at least like a dish soap sample or a skin sample or whiff sample, I always put at least a couple things in there, and always a scent circle. I have a harder time giving it away. But if I know that it's like, here, I'm giving you a gift, it's way easier for me to give it away than just like a bunch of literature. But then also the other thing that I put in is I have this personal brochure that I made, and this is probably like what Tammy has too. I just happen to have some in here, so I grabbed it. And inside it's got like about hosting and about being with Sensi and how awesome it is and how much support you have, and then about trips that we've gone on and my story across the bottom. And it's a nice little, it's just, these are easy. And I've actually started giving these out as, and it's kind of expensive, but I took all of the little hand creams and I used a glue dot earlier last month and I stuck them right here. And then I've been giving these out with a skin sample instead of a wax sample and a business card, because this says more than a business card does. So these go in my join packets, but right now I'm using them as like freebies that I'm handing out with the sample. So, yeah.
I love that. Love that. And I pretty much do the same thing. I've been using catalogs because we are towards the end and I do have extra catalogs. So I think the only different thing that I put in there from everybody else is if I have extra monthly, the monthly warmer of the month instead of the month, I'll put one of those flyers in there too. Yeah. I try not to inundate them with a whole lot of Cincy vomit. I don't know what else to call it, but I don't want to inundate them with a whole lot of, information, because information is great, and some people want that information, but pretty much you're going to sell them with your story and with you. They're going to either know, like, and trust you and go with you, or they're not. And it's really hard. I know that sounds harsh, but it's really not. But they get a feel of who you are just from your Facebook, page, because they're going to find you on Facebook. They're going to look you up on your website. So if you don't have your story on your on your personal website, please update that and have it match what your story is that you put in your opportunity packet, because all that's going to tell them who you are and what you stand for. So that's been a huge thing that I've noticed with me personally. But I love that Anna puts in, and you guys, if you're thinking about these samples, Anna does really cool samples with heat foil packets, and they're just amazing, and they don't leak, so they're great. So wanted to share that, and I love that she's doing her brochures like that. I'm not seeing any more questions pop up related to that. There is a question on here. Let me get there. I missed it. Have we done live Facebook parties? I think that's going to be covered next week. We're going to have some more speakers come on and talk about doing the Facebook parties and that. What program did you use to create your Join Story brochure?
Oh, so this is kind of a rough subject for me. Because Vistaprint is my BFF, and we're kind of at odds with Vistaprint right now. So it's a good thing that I bought like 5 boxes of these last time I did it, because I don't have a solution yet as to what I'm going to do. But I know you can do it as long as you get the vendor agreement thing filled out. You could do it. Maybe you could do staples or something, or you could print them yourself on. I know I use a Mac, so you could do it with Pages. Pages allows you to create brochures, and then it just prints them double-sided for you, and you just fold them. Or I think it's Microsoft Publisher for you PC people.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it was Vistaprint, so I'm gonna have to come up with another solution with as fast as I'm handing these things out like candy. Yeah.
Hey, Tammy, do you create your own, or do you have them uploaded to Vistaprint also?
I just printed something out, actually, but I should be a little more professional. Yeah.
That's okay, because I print mine out. I use Microsoft Publisher because I'm not a Mac person. I love my iPhone and my iPad, love them, but when it comes to the PC, I have Microsoft Publisher, and I use it for just about everything. So, and I print mine out here just because I'm cheap, and with all the issues going on with Vistaprint and the vendors, I'm just like, I can go cheaper right now. So,
as long as you're doing something, as long as you're printing something out and handing it out, I don't think it really matters. It's just the fact that you're doing that is going to make a big difference.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to flip this back to me. We had a couple of people that were going to cover some other vendor booths oh my lord, expo booths that were going on at training, and they weren't able to be here tonight. So we're not going to be able to do sponsoring anytime, but that's okay. We'll try to get that fixed in later on. I do have some information for another booth that basically was called Man, I Feel Like a Sponsor. Someone wants to join, now what? And when I started thinking about this topic and going over the material that they sent, I thought to myself, you know, this is pretty interesting because we all kind of get that recruit, and we all get that, you know, when you get that email, you have a new recruit, or you get somebody that texts you and said, hey, I just joined your team. You get this emotional high, like, yes, I did something right. Now what? So, you know, even back in my early days, I would panic, and I used to have checklists for everything. And even now, I still refer to my checklist. And with the new changes that are coming out that they rolled out at convention for us, we're going to be able to have these little checklists right in place automatically when they join, because since he's taken a lot of this on themselves, and I think that's amazing, because when I start going through my checklist, it's just, I mean, some of them were 5 pages long because I'm that OCD and ADHD, and it's a bad mix. So, you know, what happens when somebody joins? Okay, right now we get an email, they contact us. I don't know how everybody else does it. I try, if they're local, I try to sit down with them and go over as much as I can with them one-on-one. And we set up their launch party immediately. I try to have their launch party within a week because I want them to be able to hit that shooting star. If I have an extra tester set, the mini testers sitting around, I offer to let them borrow it. And I'll tell you guys, I do keep one on standby because that's just a help for me. And extra catalogs and order forms, because the minute they can get started, the better chance they have of hitting that shooting star. And by meeting with them and sitting down and going over everything, they feel better about taking this journey with you, and you form more of a relationship with them. And I love that. How many of you have seen the fact that we now have sign-ups via our cell phones? I am super excited about that because 95% of the time, I'm not near my computer. 95% of the time, I'm running my business from this little thing here. And you see my little doggy there. This is how I run my business. If I'm out running, making deliveries, if I'm sitting in a doctor's office, if I'm picking my dog up from the groomers, my phone is right here, and I can run my business. And I love the fact now that if I have somebody call me, just like this afternoon, I had a lady call me and say, okay, I'm loving your post on Facebook, I want to join. Well, I had so much fun being able to tell her, just go to my website. She's like, I'm not at home. You can do it from your iPhone. And she did. And so, you know, it's really cool that we have that technology now to offer them this quick, easy join, so they're not, you know, faced with going home and getting in front of the computer and trying to decipher. It's an easy process. Again, if they're local and we have time, I do like to sit down with them even as they're joining. So if they have questions during the join process, now that we have this new cell phone easy sign-up thing, I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. So I'm kind of excited about that. But at the same time, I still want to sit down as much as possible to get their information and get to know them if I don't already have that relationship with them, because I want to know what their why is. I want to know why they're joining, what I can do to help them. We talked today about the new starter kits. We're coming out with new starter kits. I'm not exactly sure when they're going to roll out. They may be rolling out right now. You know, we have this already enhanced starter kit for August. But even after August, we're going to have an improved starter kit with more samples and more things to help them get going with their business. When you have a new person and you set up their business and they get that box in, try to encourage them to do a live Facebook when they're unboxing. How cool would that be to see somebody who's just got their first order from Scentsy? We all know it's like Christmas when we get these packages in the mail. How exciting for a new recruit to post a live video of her unboxing her starter kit. So that's something I've been encouraging lately for them to do. I'm really trying to get active with Facebook Live. It's way out of my comfort zone, so it's something I'm trying to get myself and others to do. Sorry, wrote notes from the other speakers on my notes for tonight, so that was not a very good idea to do. But anyhow, if you can get them to post those pictures, show what they've got, plan their launch party. If you can get their launch party within a week, you can set up the invites via Facebook. I typically will do mail out invitations also for my new ones. Just a quick launch. They're ones that I made. They're not Scentsy ones. I just make them on my computer, print them out, and send them out to their guest list. So-and-so is starting her new business. Come out and help her support or show her support with a link to her website. And by this time, we've already set up her online party, so people, if they can't come to our launch party, they can go to the Facebook or the workstation, order it, all that good stuff. I try to keep it simple as possible when we're talking about the launch party because I get worried that they're going to get kind of overwhelmed. You have that kind of that lull after you've joined that you're kind of like, okay, did I do the right thing? The simpler I can keep this process for them, the simpler I can keep the party process, the better off they're going to be, the more successful they're going to be because they're more confident, because they're not getting that overwhelmed feeling. I try to, again, with trying to get the launch parties going, I use their products from their starter kit. I don't bring products of my own, and this is a double reason, because I want them to see that it is just as easy to use those products that you have on hand for a party to make your display, but I also want her comfortable in doing her parties later on down the road when I'm not going to be there if she chooses to do home parties. And if you don't do home parties, that's fine too. There's some people that I know have never done a home party, and I'm just like, whoa, how did you do that? I want to know. I love home parties. Just because I'm silly, I like to get to know people. I like to know their backgrounds and stuff. Make sure that you're using technology. If you've got somebody, say, in Colorado that's joining your team and you're in Alabama and you're thinking, what am I going to do to get to know this person or help them with their launch party? I can tell you that I have done a launch party via FaceTime on my iPhone. It was the weirdest thing, but it was so much fun just because I wasn't there. But I was. So, use technology as your friend. This Google Chat Hangout things is amazing. Being able to stream to YouTube, another amazing technology thing that we've got right here at our fingertips. So don't limit yourself from having somebody join your team if they're in another state because you feel like you can't give them that support, because you can. You've got the technology. You've got the phone. If it's, wanting to do it old school, just grab your phone and call them. So make sure that you're using them. Make sure that you're challenging them to hit that shooting star. Right now with this August promo, the free shooting star, I'm telling you, push them to get that. And I'm not saying like literally push them, but challenge them. Offer them a scent circle or some tester supplies. Offer them something small. It doesn't have to be big to hit that shooting star, to get them going so that they are confident, because once they hit that shooting star and they get that packet in the mail, again, boom, Christmas all over again. What a great way to get them started. Make sure that you're telling them about the incentive trips. I know Anna talked about her incentive trip. That was a game changer for me. When I first joined Scentsy, and it's so funny because we were talking about this the other day, I listened to the announcement for the incentive trip, and I was like, I'm going to earn that. Called my husband, told him, he laughed at me. He's like, yeah, okay, I earned it. It was to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, so I'm super excited about this incentive trip because I want to go back. I had a blast. It was a game changer for me. So think about your new recruit. Think about ways that they could earn that trip and what a game changer it would be for them, and start, just focusing on helping them and helping them achieve their stuff too. And I'm not saying put your stuff aside, but if you focus, on your new recruits and on your downline and your frontline and all that, if you focus on helping them achieve that incentive trip, you're going to push yourself a little bit more to earn it too. So, just make sure that you're using technology, but keep it simple as possible. Keep it authentic. The girls did a really great job, and I love that we kind of had the same theme throughout this, even though we did not plan this. The know, like, and trust. If they know you, they like you, and they trust you, they're going to do business with you, and they're going to want you to be their business mentor or sponsor, if you will. So make sure that you're using that and asking everyone, because even if you don't think that they would be interested, you don't know their circumstances. You don't know what goes on outside of your little interactions with them. So like Anna was saying, the lady at the bank, she just saw her every day. She didn't know what her home life was like, or if she had a financial need that Cincy could fill. Just like I have a friend that's on my team that I have known her since I was probably 8 years old, and she joined my team just out of the blue. Matter of fact, she sent me a text one day and said, I joined your team, and I was like, what? Huh? She had a need. Her daughter had graduated school, her oldest daughter had already gotten married, so she had an empty nest, and she wanted to fill it, and she's been just like this awesome rock star. So, you never know. Even people that you would say, no, they probably wouldn't be interested, you're going to be surprised that they are interested. So one thing I did want to toss back to you ladies and ask you ladies a question is, with offering your opportunity packets, how do you determine, other than outside parties and basket parties or whatever, how do you determine if you just meet somebody, what are some of the things that you engage them in conversation to offer that opportunity packet to them?
You want me to go first?
Yes, I'll click it to you.
Okay, so for example, my goal this month is to give out an opportunity packet every day. So I made a crap load of opportunity packets, and I give them away to very random people. So yesterday, a guy came to my door to try and sell me some cleaner. It was like a super concentrated cleaner, and I flipped it around and said, you could be selling cleaner from your house. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, you don't have to go door to door. You could join Scentsy, and you could sell cleaner from your house. So you guys use Scentsy? He says, yeah. I said, you use Scentsy in your house? He says, yeah, I have warmers and wax. I said, well, then you ought to join me. So I gave him a join packet, and there you go. So really, I think I don't overthink about who I'm going to give join packets to, but I make a commitment in just to giving them out. So, I really don't. If it's the girl who made me a sandwich at Subway, I'll give her one. It really doesn't matter to me. There's no criteria as to who's getting one and who's not getting one.
How about you, Tammy? Do you have any advice on that?
I would just say anybody that is excited that they find out you sell Scentsy, or oh my god, I use Scentsy, just say, did you want some samples? I've got some in my purse. And there's also a catalog in there too, so you can take a peek at everything we have, but then it's got the other information in there as well. That's about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I have just recently started intending to give out a certain number of opportunity packets a day. So today when I was out doing my deliveries, I intended to give out at least 3, which I know that's a low number. I probably should do more, but little baby steps for me. And I actually did it, and they were just a person I met at a gas station and another one at a peach stand because I stopped and got us some peaches. And then another one was when I took an order into a local high school. The lady at the desk got really excited because she was like, oh my God, it's Scentsy. And I'm like, yes. So talked to her quickly, because teachers, they don't make that much money. So I was like, here you go. I'd love to have you on my team. And she was just the sweetest thing. We had talked for 20 minutes. She was great. I do have a question here, and Anna and Tammy can probably answer this one better than me because I'm all about keeping things simple. But the question is, how should we do the story part of our packets if we have never earned any of the incentive trips?
I would say just you want to talk about why you love Scentsy. You don't necessarily have to have achieved anything huge because anybody, even when you're just joining, you're going to have a story. So what is your story? Why do you love it? Why did you decide to join? What have been some really awesome things? Maybe it's the friendships. There's always something that makes it amazing. So focus on that. And then you're always going to add to your story. Every day your story is evolving. So then just change it up. But don't think that you have to have hit something huge in order for you to be valuable.
Yes, and adding on to that, some people may be intimidated like, I'm going to use Anna as an example because we know each other enough that I can do this. When Anna tells me, hey, I recruited 41 people, I'm intimidated by that, and I'm sure some of you are sitting there going, "Me too." You know, but somebody may relate better to Anna recruiting 41 people, or they may, relate better to you because you've only recruited a small amount, so they want to learn and grow with you. And so that's, keeping it simple and keeping it authentic to you, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. And you guys, I'm checking these as we go. So if you guys have questions and if I'm not getting to them, please tag me into the questions. But I think that is pretty much all that's coming up for tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. I hope you guys have gotten a lot of use out of this. I'm so grateful to Tammy and Anna for being here with me tonight. And Catherine, you guys are amazing. If you guys have any, questions or need them, they're on Facebook. They're very authentic. They're very loving. And they're very caring, and I love them all. So you guys have a great night. We'll resume back next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Central Time. And we will be covering, I forgot what next one is. We've done team building. Selling. So if you are interested in how people are doing their parties, showcasing their products, that's what we're going to go over next week. So bye. Have a good night.